Hi, I'm Sarah,
And I'm Amanda,
and this is I'm Your Mother Now podcast.
episode 12.
Wow, 12
Wow.
whole weeks of this magic with you, my sister.
Well, here's the thing. We did a double drop for the first one. So it's like 11.
What does that mean?
We had two episodes that dropped at first, right? Okay, well, I'm just letting you know we did.
Okay,
So
that
it's
like, but
11.
like the whole thing confuses me. So is this our 12th episode or not?
It's our 12th episode, but it's our 11th week.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hi, nice
So
to see you again.
it's like really nice to see you here.
Hmm.
I have to admit something to you that last week I said that I had a challenge to make a bitch smile. And I can't honestly tell you if I really left my house in a meaningful way and had any meaningful interactions with people out in the world.
I think you probably said that and then completely forgot about it. Because
I did.
because when you told the story, you had already made a bitch smile, so you were like, chick chick done.
So okay, you know what? Fair. So the challenge was for everyone else.
Oh,
So how'd you do, Sarah?
I didn't I did great. I think that I've made many bitches smile in the past week.
Why did you um lead with that? With with doubting yourself?
Because I was about to say I forgot entirely about the challenge, but then my brain said, no, you naturally make a bitch smile.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say
So
like it's one of your job's KPIs, how many smiles.
I don't know what a KPI is. Don't laugh. Like it's not funny that you know.
Oh, it's a key performance indicator. So it's whatever you use to track success, Sarah. So your
What a
KPI
terrible
could be
combination of
smiles.
words. Wait, key performance indicator.
Right.
Key performance indicator.
I hope that's what it stands for, honestly. I find a lot of times at work we have acronyms and then I ask someone what they mean and they're like, ugh, kind of forget, but we're just gonna keep saying it.
Is that like the thing in corporate America is like we just have to make up acronyms so we sound like super busy and smart?
Well, right. Yes.
I saw a little meme of someone saying how they were like listening to these two guys talking at work and it was like a guy talking to other guys and he said, "You know, my idea of progress is moving forward." And
Yep. And all the men agreed.
And all the men are like, yeah, it's profound. And it's like, that's literally just the definition of the word, but you do you, boys. Hi, Beth.
It's correct. Key
Beth
performance
is, yeah,
indicator.
key
Thank
performance.
you.
Okay. Okay. So, corporate girlies in the house.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyhow, what's on deck today, my bitches?
So today we are
Mm-hmm.
going to talk about
Mm-hmm.
authenticity,
Authenticity,
what that means.
broadly and in
And
detail.
I would love to start this off with a question to you.
Me?
Because
Mm-hmm.
I would say, from your point of view, what do we do if we find ourselves in an environment that does not value authenticity? Right? What is it? Yeah, I can
I mean,
continue. I have
that's,
more thoughts, but if you
no, go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, what happens when you find yourself in a place where being who you are and who you have, I feel like this, when you've discovered who you are, right? And you feel very passionate about this person that you have uncovered and you want to show her off everywhere,
Okay.
right? Because you're like,
Trot her
what?
around.
Right. So when you find yourself somewhere where that isn't valued, right? Where there
Mm-hmm.
is like a different role that you're supposed to play, and that is essentially like the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of situations in life where this comes up, right? Because we are often finding ourselves in different rooms. different groups of people. I think it's part of the reason why we understand who our circle is when we all of a sudden spend time with people that are just so misaligned with the things that we value. So what are your thoughts?
So I think my answer is going to have a couple layers to it.
Love it.
Okay. Like a cake. So the first part I would say is kind of jumping into what you're saying is okay, you've gotten to a point in your life where you've finally figured out, like, whoa, this is who I am. Like,
Mm-hmm.
or this is closer to who I am. And you really want to lean into the authenticity of who you've discovered. But you look
Yep.
around you and your environment, be that personal life, work, whatever else there is besides that, is misaligned with who you just realized you are.
Yeah.
That is a major crisis. That is called a major crisis point, right? Because that's a identity crisis. So when that happens, changes have to occur
Yeah.
because otherwise you aren't going to be able to move in any direction. You're just going to be stuck in a loop of dissonance, right?
Yeah.
So the first part, I would say, because just because I know you and we've been talking about this, I know like we have our personal life, right? Our friends, our family, and then we have our work life, which is
Yeah.
for a lot of people takes up a lot of their time, right? Like this is a huge part of your week, at least 40 hours, right? And then
Right.
some, and is a part of your identity too.
Mm-hmm.
So we have those two spaces. The issue with the work identity though is that it gives you money for which to fund your personal life.
Is that a problem?
No, it's just a fact.
Okay.
So first we look at personal life. If you're able to show up like 100% as who you are authentically in your personal life, then in your work life, you're going to feel marginally less stressed about not being able to be who you are exactly. Does that make sense? In that metric, I'm not finished yet, but it just like I'm kind of laying that foundation.
Yes. I'm
Okay.
picking up what you're throwing down.
So, first step is focus on personal life, weeding out friendships, groups, activities, obligations, and even pressures that are just misaligned with who you are going to really help you to feel better, right? And less
Yeah.
stress so that when you're in the cocoon of your own personal life, it's restorative and doesn't feel like it's grating against the soul of your being. So
Fair. Yeah.
let's say we settle that, right?
Sure.
Then you go to work, and work is telling you, I don't value you as a person because you're just a number and I don't really care. And not necessarily that they're aggressively attacking you in any way, but it's more like, okay, like this is a business, a corporation, a
Right.
corporate place, so to speak, and we don't really value individuality or creative thinking or any of those things, right? So you go from a space that you've cultivated to be aligned with who you are now, to grow with
Right.
you, into a space that feels stagnant and oppressive.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I think that if you're ever in, yes, I would say that oppressive is a good way to describe an environment where you are and you don't feel like you belong. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So then the question is, then this is where we get into more layers because who are you as a person and
Yeah.
what kind of game are you able to play, right? And
Sure.
is the juice worth the squeeze? Because
Yeah.
now we've taken care of personal, so we're looking at work life. Does a change need to happen here? Maybe, right? A lot of people are afraid of change in
Yeah.
especially in a workplace situation because there are no guarantees. What if I'm making a good salary here and good
Hmm.
benefits, I have a family to take care of. You
Yeah.
may be in a situation where it really makes no sense that just because your feelings are getting hurt you leave this job, right?
Right. I mean, your whole
So
life is hinging on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's all about how you can, alchemize this situation for your benefit. And I think that if you are able to be 100% yourself in your personal life and you feel completely supported and good in that space, it makes it easier then to go into your work setting and be like, well, this is a game I'm playing today to bring some money home for these things,
Mm. As
right?
you're walking through this, I'm thinking about Ima- like imagine living your life being misaligned at home and at work.
Yes, I can. I think most of us can do that.
Because it's like, but not realizing. Because I think identifying what it is that is making you feel a certain way is important. And if you haven't discovered like who you are, then that might just never happen to you.
Never. No.
Never.
We were really trained in our culture to look outside of self. Like Western culture is always
Yeah.
looking outside of self for the
Hmm.
answers, right? You
That's so
know,
true. That's
boom,
so true.
profound observation
You're
this
so
morning.
deep. You're so deep. We must look inward, Sarah.
Wow, it's almost, it's just it's interesting because um oddly enough, the past week, this is a tangent that I hope you enjoy, but oddly enough, the past week in sessions, actually the past couple weeks, we've been talking a lot about the Bible.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes, and as our listeners may or may not know, and they're going to know now, you and I were brought up in a cult Christian adjacent religion called Jehovah's Witness. And that was very, at least for me, it was very formative because I'm 4 years older than you. So it was very formative for my brain because that was what, between the ages of like what, 7 and 12 for me,
Yeah.
right?
Eh.
So being immersed in a very religious culture and studying the Bible several times a week, and I took that shit seriously. Like I
That's how
was
I learned how to read.
right, right. Like we were in it. We were in it to win it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of Bible information in my brain, right? And
Sure.
we're living now in a very interesting point in history where Christianity and the nationalization of that religion in this country is like rampant, right? And the misinterpretation of the Bible is rampant. And it's just really interesting to me. And so it's been a topic of conversation with my clients the past few weeks a lot, where we've, because a lot of them are, I guess, grew up also in oppressive religious institutions or have just exited them. And it's really interesting to look at the actual message that Jesus himself has in the Bible, right? And which is, where was I going with this? Oh, um, which is a very inward message. He literally says, it's just literally spoken in, if you believe in the text itself, the kingdom of heaven is within you. How much more clear can you get? It's right in here, right? He's like, here's where it is, right in there. And everyone's like, out there, up there. It's like, no, like in
You're
here.
God, you're in the clouds.
Are you up there? When you say in there, do you mean up there? No,
No.
like in
Yes.
there. So the unlocking of authenticity is never going to be from an external source. But
Mm.
but like Western philosophy is looking out of self towards a reflection of something else back to you to tell you who you are.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, a huge issue that we're seeing right now playing out in real time is this fear of anything different, right?
Yeah.
Anything different from who we think we are and should be is scary and a threat. And it's interesting because we know from a scientific perspective that diversity builds strength
Yeah.
and growth.
Yeah.
Look at dogs. If we just look at breeding dogs, right? Who do you want? Who's going to have the less vet bills? The mutt you find or this purebred golden doodle situation that's
Yeah.
been fine-tuned to be the perfect bloodline for your, hairless house or whatever, but you're going to spend thousands of dollars on congenital defects from these dogs. And then, the mutt over here is just like, well, I ate something.
Well, if you could find me a dog that doesn't cost me thousands of dollars because apparently the breed's teeth just rot out of their mouths, that would be great.
It would be great. It would be
Yeah.
great. But, kind of back to what we're
Yeah.
saying about the authenticity, and I know we're kind of like spinning around, but if we're looking at that as where do we look to find the authenticity? How do we find that peace within ourselves? And then how do we translate that to living in a world that does not value authenticity and is afraid of it? How do we
Mm-hmm.
get to that space? And it really comes back to who are you as a person and how do you work, right? Because I myself am a very Scorpio person. Do you know what that means?
I was just going to say, for anyone who doesn't know what that means, let's go ahead and explain what that means to be a very Scorpio person.
Yeah. So, zodiac signs, you may be a person who finds them interesting, finds them stupid. It doesn't really matter to me. But I find that having that as an additional perspective is incredibly helpful and oftentimes right on the nose. So
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio is, which we're about to head into Scorpio season. Scorpio is the sign of the zodiac that is really all about death and rebirth. Okay.
Mm.
It is a sign of going deep, 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 deep into the depths of the darkest water to find the answers, die about it, and then come right back up to experience. And that is really how I live my life. There's probably going to be some barking because some black van just pulled up in front of my house.
A black van.
Yeah, that's weird, right? Anyhow, um, that's
All
that's
depends
Scorpio
on what
energy.
happens next, if
I
that's
know.
weird
Just
or
I'm
not,
I'm just
Sarah.
like saying it so that everybody knows.
You're like, so a black van, Pennsylvania license plate. It's-
The black unmarked van. Okay. So anyhow, that's Scorpio energy, kind of like going deep, like no surface level stuff. And in order to learn a lesson, we have to die about it. So it's
okay.
not like you can't warn me, like, oh, that's probably a bad idea. I'm like, I don't care. I have to experience the bad idea in my soul, and then
Mm-hmm.
we'll discuss it later. So I'm that person, right? I'm fine with a little manipulation. I'm fine with a bigger picture, right? Like I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
You may not be that person. But what I'm saying is, in your context of, okay, how do you find alignment in a misaligned environment? Like if you are at work and you're finding, like, I know who I am and nobody values this. My question to you is this a situation, like assess it. Is this a situation where you can Trojan horse this? Can you? Or can you make change from within or can you not? And if the answer is you cannot, maybe the next thing you need to start doing is looking for another job and not
I thought you were gonna say start flexing your personality.
no, no,
just,
no, but
like
like
just
and
get
not
out of
like
there then.
yeah, just burn it down. No, 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 no.
Write it down, listeners, okay?
If you can't infiltrate it. Oh, it's my okay, it's male. It's male. It's I'm not being abducted. Everything's good. It's male.
Everything everything is good. Okay.
Whew, okay.
Um
But yes, so that's what I'm saying is like, can you get into the situation and make change from within, or can you not? And once you've like assessed that, not from a place of fear, start looking for something else and manifest it instead of just being like, oh, I need a new job. Oh my God, what's gonna happen? Like, think about what it would take for you to feel okay in your job and put
mhm.
that out there, right? Put that
Mhm.
out there. Like, what makes you tick? And bringing that into a broader perspective too, because I think it's really important right now. The idea of Trojan horsing is really important because I have been in the spiritual community for like what 8 years now, right? I'm less involved than I ever was, but something that was a really strong theme a few years ago was everybody and their mother was like, I have to become a light worker, I have to become a Reiki practitioner, I need to do all these
Mhm.
things, I need to make a spiritual business to help heal the world.
Yeah.
And to that I would say yes and no, right? Because do we need thousands of Reiki practitioners or do we need enlightened, open, kind, open hearted individuals in places where there is no love and there is no kindness, in the
Right.
institutions that are doing active harm, right? We
Right.
should be within the spaces that need the change and we should make that change from within like a Trojan horse. So that's what I would say is
Mm.
really important is
That's another
remembering that
layer.
it's like, yeah, it's not just about you. It's not just about like your feelings all the time,
No, it's never
right?
really. Only it's
Like,
never
oh,
about.
like I want this. Like, I want to do this. I want, okay, like, I get it. But at the same time, where are you going to affect the biggest amount of change? How can you be a helper? Is it
Mm.
really by dropping everything and running into the woods and like playing a lute? Like, is it, having endless ayahuasca ceremonies and, posting it on Instagram? I don't think so,
I
but
mean,
I
I
could
don't
be
know.
wrong. Like, I mean, I'm no, again, I don't want to yuck anybody's yum, but if we're really trying to change this shit that we're living in, we have to actually be within the institutions that are driving the issues, right? And
Yeah.
I would say, like, with authenticity and alignment, Amanda, like I was telling you this morning, like I feel really good right now.
Yeah.
And part of that, I think, is because I found the thing that's for me to do. And
Yeah.
I've been like all around it for years, right? Because even when
Mm-hmm.
I was like doing my spiritual coaching business, it was kind of what I'm doing now, right? But it just wasn't quite on the mark. I was like,
Right.
what is the thing? Like, what am I doing? And I know when I go to work every day, I'm helping.
Yeah.
I'm helping because when a person comes into my office and sits down and tells me what's going on with them, and then they leave, and this happens a lot, and I'm going to toot my own horn because it happens so frequently. Before they
Beep
leave
beep.
my office, yes, they look at me and they say, I feel so much better. I feel
Yeah.
stronger. I feel more capable. If I can do that, if I can give somebody a perspective that makes them feel more powerful and capable in their own lives, that makes them see something from a perspective that is more empathetic, that is the thing, that is the change I am putting out into the world, are more people who are not so scared. And
Your KPI.
that's my
Your
what is it?
KPI.
My
Your
key.
KPI is people who are less scared. Putting more
Boom.
people who are less scared.
Put
Bam.
that on my resume.
Yeah.
my my CV.
What does that even stand for?
Curriculum vitae.
Are you kidding me?
I'm certainly not.
Why are we like what? Like why do we even speaking of acronyms, like why do we even say CV? You think anyone knows what that means?
I did, and I don't know
Okay, you
things.
did. You also have said the word facsimile just a few times, just really,
I
really well.
love that word.
I have a couple of
Facsimile.
thoughts. I have a couple
Okay,
of
sorry,
thoughts.
go ahead. Thought it.
Um, I keep thinking about a phoenix when you were talking about Scorpio,
That is
um,
exactly what Scorpio is.
which
Phoenix.
is so well. I think of the phoenix in Harry Potter, in the Harry Potter movies. It's been a long time since I've read those books or seen those movies. Um, but it's so true. Like sometimes you just have to self combust
Yeah.
and you just have to be a pile of ashes. Like, are you like, I
Uh,
have, and then it's like, hold on, wait a second.
got it. Eureka.
I just had to have an absolute meltdown and break down all of my atoms
Yeah. And rebuild it.
and rebuild it. Also, I'm laughing about how you keep calling JW a cult. Way to alienate our JW listeners.
Well, here's the thing. I don't just call it a cult reflexively. I
Yeah.
researched it and it hits all the markers for what a cult is defined by. And so, therefore, it is a cult.
Do you know what
You're
the
welcome.
craziest, the craziest part to me is like now that I have a 4-year-old, I can never imagine being like, I'm gonna join this religion where we don't celebrate you ever.
No, you get no birthdays and no Christmas. And also, would you like to sit still and be quiet for 2 hours
But
several times a week?
think about that. If you're saying that you were 7 to 12 and I'm 4 years younger, then I was 3 to 7.
I
Sitting
know.
in 3 days a week we went, I feel
Three
like.
days a week and
And
field
like
service.
sitting there with like in a dress and like shoes and like doing what? And then this is what I was also thinking about because I said I learned how to read through, JW. And it was because they used to do up on stage, off to the side, they used to have like reenactments. And they
Yes.
would have like people would volunteer to be like families
Theocratic
that are like
ministry school.
just sitting at the table, like, oh, how was your day, honey? And it's like, well, little Tommy invited me to his birthday party and I really want to go. And it's like, how do you handle, it's like dramatic pause. How do you handle this situation? And for some reason, like I really wanted to be in one of these reenactments, but there was a script. And so I literally learned how to read so that I could be a part of this reenactment. I've always meant to be on stage. That's it, Sarah. Look at,
You love a microphone.
I love a microphone.
She loves a microphone. No, Amanda, that's a real thing. It happened to me as well. I used to write the scripts. I
Mm.
remember specifically doing that, and I loved it.
I used to actually very much enjoy walking around after. Because you imagine everyone used to mingle after? Can
Oh
you
yeah,
imagine you're sitting somewhere for like, I should join community theater.
you should. You'd be excellent at
People
it.
would be like mingling, and I would just walk around and I would ask everyone for candy. I'd say,
That's
hey,
right.
do you
It was
have
like
any
trick or
candy?
treat.
I was like, do you have any candy? And I remember they'd be like, oh, and they would pull out Tic Tacs, right?
Yeah,
Everyone
and
had Tic Tacs.
Werthers.
I would literally walk around and ask people for candy.
Yeah, that was an actual thing we did. I am gonna just tell you, you've said literally about 50 times. So if you want to not, we can. I know you wanted to
It's
think about
too
that.
late.
I'm sorry. It literally
Something
is too
about
late.
the L's. When I get excited, last week it was like, this week
Yes.
it's literally.
Yes. I think saying literally is a very like, la, 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 it feels good.
Like
Almost
a,
like
it's just, it's just,
facsimile.
it's like it's a Valley Girl thing.
It is.
Literally.
And we didn't grow up in the
Actually.
valley, but it was Connecticut, so there's that.
There's a
So,
valley in Connecticut. The All American Valley is in Connecticut. I did not grow up in it, to your point, but it's here.
um, okay. So anyhow, I feel like
You just
in
snorted.
yay, I feel like the discussion on authenticity is ongoing because there's
Hmm.
so many aspects of that. And so we've talked, like your question was about being authentic in your spaces, right? And what happens when you find you're in a space that doesn't value who you are as a person. And my short answer to that is, create an exit plan or decide if you can change it from within.
Yes, thank you. I think speaking of zodiac signs, I think being a Cancer has something to do with it as well.
Your your chart is interesting
Hmm.
because if I am not mistaken, you are a double Cancer. I think you are a Cancer sun and a Cancer rising.
How's that working out for me?
Confusing, I think, in a lot of ways for you.
Mm.
I don't have your chart in front of me. I would love to. We should probably do this on an episode. I would love
We
to
should.
see. Yeah, we have to analyze your chart. I would love to see what your Mercury is. I think you have a Libra moon, but I would love to see what your Mercury is, which is your planet of communication. And I would love to see what your Virgo, not what your Mars and your Venus are. So Venus is going to be your relationship style, and Mars is going to be your passion planet. So how you argue, what sparks your passion, like that kind of thing. So I'd love to see that. But just like generally speaking, if you look at your own evolution, I imagine with so much Cancer energy, it's been difficult for you to express the massive amount of feelings you have that seem to go more of in a sideways fashion than a straightforward fashion, right?
Mm. It's true.
Yeah. So
It's
like
true.
there's a lot of feelings. There's many, many, many feelings. And then with your Libra moon, which is going to rule your it's your emotions, right? It's how you express your emotions, how you translate them, how you process them. Libra is the sign of balance
Yes.
and fairness. So you may find yourself like depending on like where you're at in your evolution of as a person with so many feelings that are not easy to express directly that kind of like implode within you then your Libra moon is like, well, it wouldn't be fair if I express this anyway. Like, oh, will anybody care? Oh, is this, and you're just kind of like, help, like, what do I do? So, like, there's
Hmm.
no direct energy. So, somehow, though, right, in the past few years, you reached a point where you're like, I'm tired of not ever being direct.
Yeah.
I'm tired of every few years just literally exploding because I have not expressed any of my authentic feelings and they're just going this way and that way and like nobody knows, right?
Yeah.
So you reach that point and now you're coming into alignment with yourself and Cancer energy. So every sign has its healed side and non-healed side, right? Unhealed and healed. At any point in time, we're moving between the two fluid, right? But
Mm-hmm.
your set point is going to be what's where you're at in life, right? So imagine in your most unhealed Cancer energy, you are expecting everybody to intuit your needs. You don't communicate your needs. You have a million needs. You feel like you take care of everybody. No, nobody takes care of you. Like just so much unrequited needs. On the
Yeah.
healed end, Cancer energy, you create home wherever you go. Anywhere you
I
land,
do.
that is home, right? So it doesn't matter what's around you. You create a sense of home for yourself and for people around you. And because Cancer is the crab energy, so it carries its home on its back.
Yeah.
And also has
Yeah.
the flexibility to know that when it's growing, it's time to go find a new shell,
Mm,
molt it off,
yeah.
get a bigger one. So in its healed essence, and I'm a Cancer rising too. In its healed essence, like that energy is so nurturing and loving for other people, but you also need to be nurtured and loved. It's not all giving, 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 because that is not a complete circuit, right? That's a circle.
Right.
So, in
Right.
order to have that flow, you have to surround yourself with people who value the home that you provide with your presence and give you the support that makes you feel aligned in continuing to provide that.
Yes. Whoa. Dang, Sarah.
That will
Maybe
be
we should talk about this on an
$200.
episode. Yeah. I think, wait. So Halloween is on a Friday this year. Okay. It's 2 weeks
I won't be available.
on the whole day of Halloween.
So, okay, let
We
me
don't
put it
have to
this
talk
way.
about this
Oh,
now. We don't
okay,
have to talk about
sorry.
this now.
Okay.
Yes, we are actually live on air. We're recording our 12th episode.
You don't want to hear the logistics? Okay, got
No,
it.
but we definitely need to talk about that. But the point is, at some point, we will talk about this on an episode. I thought it would tie in
We
well with
will.
Halloween. You shut me down. That's fine. I'm going to take my Cancer energy and go sideways with that and not tell you directly how I
Yeah.
feel.
And I would even say, I'll do your chart and, I'm kind of open to occasionally popping in somebody else's chart. So if like an audience member wants their listener wants to like send me their chart, maybe we discuss you live on air sometime.
Maybe we do. You let us
Maybe we
know.
do. Let us
Yeah.
know. So,
All right.
yeah. Well, nice chatting with you, my
Always.
sister.
Always. It's so good when we get to catch up like this.
I know, I haven't spoken to you in so long.
In so long. All right.
Okay.
Well,
I love you guys. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next time. Bye.
mwah. Bye. Thanks for listening to I'm Your Mother Now podcast, an Amala Moon production. If you loved today's episode, make sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and if I've done the RSS feed properly, wherever you get your pods. You can follow us on Instagram at IYMN_podcast to watch us live on Friday mornings and catch the full episodes on our YouTube channel, I'm Your Mother Now podcast. We'd love if you could share this with a friend who'd vibe with the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps more people to find us. We'll see you next week. Bye.